Hey, did you like that piece? Well, I have in the studio today the young man who put that piece together. He developed and produced that piece. I know I usually talk over that with my own little, I don't know if you call it rapping or what, but what's up, DJ Polaris?
I'm good.
Wait a minute. I can't hear you, sir.
Uh-oh.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's try that again.
1, 2, 2. Can you hear me now?
Okay, a little bit more. But thanks for coming in today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, before we even go into this unique interview, what I wanted to do was share with you this new piece of music. Hey, tell me a little bit about, I think it's called Apollo.
Yes, it's called Apollo. I have a new instrumental record coming out in about a week. Next Saturday is when I'm going to do the next the instrumental record. So I thought I'd come and debut a couple songs today just for you and your listening audience. And yeah, Apollo is just the first piece.
All right, here we go.
The reason I say welfare destroys the survival instinct, there's an old saying: give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. In teaching a man to fish, he garners knowledge. And with that knowledge, he can do for himself. Because when he is hungry, survival instinct will kick in, and he'll get up off his butt and go get himself a rod and some line and some bait and go fishing so that he can feed himself and his family if he has got one. But when you give a man a fish, welfare, and you continue to give that man a fish, you destroy his instinct of survival. He will not
I like that, DJ
go
Polaris.
get it for himself
Thank you.
because he's looking for someone to give it to him.
All right. I like that. Hey, talk to me about how you came up with that piece.
Well, I'm a big fan of astronomy,
Okay.
first of all, so henceforth the name Apollo. I have a tendency, just like any other artist, if you with watercolors or you sculpt or you sing, we tend to do a lot of sketching, and I do that musically as well. And it's something I've been working on actually for maybe maybe 7, 8, 10 years maybe. And
Wow.
I just never found a place for it, because as a producer, you're always giving pieces to singers, to artists, and sometimes it doesn't connect with them. And I always connected with it personally, so I was like, you know what, I'll just save it for my record, and I just used it. But that's the basics of it, just sketching ideas, and I try to make the title fit the music a little bit. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And so I saw something that you posted about this your album. Is this your first album?
Yeah, this will be my first instrumental album.
Okay. All right.
You know, instrumental albums, you know, as you know, the history of jazz has always been, you know, typically instrumental, and maybe even progressive rock got into that, of course, classical. But in the genre of like hip hop or R&B, you didn't really see a lot of that until a lot of the hip hoppers started just putting the instrumentals out just for people to have for other DJs, and so they became a little bit more popular now. So I just said, yeah, let me do it. I've been thinking about it for 15 years, but I just, you know, like, wow, what do I do?
That made you go ahead and take that step?
You know, just talking with my friends, my family, you know, just kind of being more sure of yourself. I think a lot of times people see confidence as something that you just have all the time, and I think confidence is actually knowing your limitations, or knowing that, okay, I need to break outside of this box.
Right.
And that is the confidence. You know, you don't just always walk around like, oh, I'm just super confident, I'm the best, I don't have to worry about anything. You finally see a limit, and you say, okay, I need to go beyond this limit. So, and it's been something, because it's not easy to put your art out there for any artist that doing, like I said, painting, sculpting, singers, dancers, graffiti artists, like
radio hosts.
Yeah, right, yeah, right. It's all. I mean, even people who write books.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I consider that, you know, a level of art as well. And if you put that out there, I mean, it's out there, and that's it. You don't get to change it. So once I put this piece of music out, it's like, there it is. And you know, so it's a risk factor, but I like the challenge to be able to basically trying to tell a story. That's why it's called the Polaris Collections.
Okay.
I'm going to try to tell a story, so you'll hear you won't hear me vocally on there, but you'll hear, being a DJ, you'll hear me scratching and adding words in a artistic way, if you will, to tell a story of the record, like you heard speeches in that record.
Yes.
And stuff like that, just little pieces, so you can still get in your car and drive to it, and it won't overpower you with words, but it'll be something to break up the monotony of just, if you will, music. So.
I got in the studio today, DJ Polaris. Listen, I love that explanation of how you stepped into producing your own music.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Does that have anything to do with your popularity in the city as a DJ? Because you are grounded in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Do you think that has a lot to do? Because when you say DJ Polaris, everybody knows that you're the producer, you're the DJ.
Right.
I love the music that you produce for me, but we're going to get to that.
Right.
Do you think your confidence actually has anything to do with the fact that you're grounded in the community?
Oh, absolutely. I was raised by this community, you know, so everybody from people like Al Styles, people like the people, Pat, that own Tall Man Records.
Oh, wow.
And Mr. Chapman that own Links.
Oh,
like,
wow.
these are the people that I looked up to. You know, I know a lot of people look up to, you know, Martin Luther King or Elijah Muhammad or, you know, any of these great black figures, but these were the people that I could actually go talk to about business, about confidence, about what I need to do or what I need to be as a man beyond my father, beyond my uncles, beyond. So for me, the community raised me. So my success is definitely their success. Right. So, you know, and that's why I'm successful at, you know, the things that I do is because of the community. So when the community says, hey, you need to put out this record, you should do it, I know it'll be great. So that's what gave me the confidence. I think a lot of times we get I mean, and there's a lot of people out there like, you're your own person and you're strong and, and all these affirmations, which I think are beautiful, but people build you as well. And
Right.
you can never look back and say, oh, I did this on my own. No, this is a community record. So whether you
Right.
like it or not, this is the community record for
That's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Listen, you brought someone in the studio with you.
Yeah, I did.
He didn't know he was going to be on the mic, but
Yeah.
anytime you come in the studio, you on
gotta
the
be on the
mic.
mic. Yeah, I brought my son. This is my
DJ
son.
Black, hey! How
Yeah.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you already got the DJ title.
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Talk to us about that.
Well, I've been DJing since I was young. Probably I started around 7. My dad taught me everything that I needed to know. I just grew a love for it as I kept going, and as well as for producing. I've been doing that since I was probably about 5 or 6. So just learning the basics, and he taught me everything, and I'm able to go on my own and do something big with it. So
Okay. So now, do you do your school events? Do you do community events?
I do more community events. I'm homeschooled, so I do birthday parties, weddings, different things like that. So pretty much anything that anybody wants me to DJ, I can do it. So
Tell me what brought you to it.
brought me to DJing.
Uh-huh.
My dad definitely started me, and watching him do it.
You got the
and
bug?
Yes, yes, I definitely did. Same with producing. So just watching him do it, and I just wanted to really keep going and follow in his footsteps. So
What's
it's
your
definitely
vision for
fun.
the future?
Just to reach more people in the community and reach more of my age group, and just try to be the next best thing that I can be. So
That's cool.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Thanks for getting on the mic.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
DJ Polaris, you actually developed and produced the piece, my intro piece. I tried to not talk. I didn't talk as I was playing. Speak
Right,
now
right.
with Gena. Okay. So
Yeah, we heard you on there with the lyrics. I heard you the first time. I was
okay,
like,
that's what you call it, lyrics. Okay. All right.
right.
So, how did you put that together for me? How did you figure that piece out for me?
Well, I look at music 2 ways. I look at music because I like to eat.
Okay.
So I like to cook more than eat.
Okay.
But, when you're cooking for someone, you have to think of them first and not just you. So when you're cooking for them, you have to look for if they have any allergies. I mean, we have a lot of peanut allergies or soy, or even there's stipulations for religious beliefs. So if you have guests, you have to change up maybe what you do in order to accommodate them, because the common goal is the meal. So I try to think of you, and that's not easy. I'm not saying I'm an expert at it by any means, but you have to think of the person, their history, what they've told you, things you've talked about,
Listening to their voice, all of that.
everything, and then try to mimic that musically. And that's what I tried to do, and still make it good for the radio, because it's a intro. So it's like when it first comes on, does it impact you? Does it say anything? Does it sound like, okay, there's a show coming on? Because I'm big into TV themes.
Okay.
I've done a few things like documentary music and stuff like that with a friend of mine, Glenn Brewer. I'm sure you know Glenn. And so trying to match music with an image is kind of what I did, but I'm matching it with a person.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the difference
Pretty
now.
cool.
So, yeah.
And you were so patient, because what I remember you saying is, I'm going to send you this, and you listen to it and tell me if it fits. Actually, all of them fit, but this one really fit.
Yeah. I think you have to be. I think sometimes as producers or as even artists in general, once you cross a threshold and you want to get paid for it or you want to sell it, you thus become a business and you become in the consumer market. So you can't forget that part. So just because I'm doing it, I can't have the attitude like, well, I like it. You just don't know music. You just need to listen. No, you have to get excited when you play that piece. You have to want other people to hear it. And you're playing it on the radio for all these people. So it represents you. So I can't just say, let me just throw her something. No, I crafted that from the ground up.
That's cool, and it's so cool.
Yeah,
very
thank
cool.
you. Thank you.
Tell me, because I'm still learning all of this whole process. What is a producer?
Ooh.
There you go.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I know all my producer buddies are going. Well, honestly, musically, and since we're talking music,
yes.
there's really several different ways to produce. A producer that I grew up listening to his work, he did a lot of stuff with a rock band, a metal band by Metallica named Bob Rock. And Bob Rock, I watched him do the Black Album. It was an album I really dug from Metallica. And he didn't play an instrument. He didn't sing. He never mixed the record. He never did anything musically as far as the creation. All he did was oversee everything. So it was almost like a manager, if you will. So that's one type of producer. Then you have other producers that are more hands-on, which I tend to kind of fall into that more, where I'm actually creating the sounds. I can't sing. I want to, but I can't. So, but even that, you have to kind of guide the singer, guide the rapper, even the musician if it's an instrumental record, because I've done a few of those as well. And just guiding them with your musical knowledge, like, hey, you should change this piece, or you should sing that lower, or you should whisper this piece, and you just kind of work with the artist together. So that's another kind of producer, so. Because, you can executive produce and you don't do anything but pay for the record. So that's another producer.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's quite a few. But I tend to fall in the one that's more hands-on.
You like the hands-on.
Yeah, I'm a studio rat. I know people say that. My family will tell you I'll just jump up in the middle of the night. If I got to create, I got to create.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I know that you've been, what I saw on Facebook is you've been out the community for 7 years, but it's been a whole lot longer than 7 years.
Right.
Talk about the history of where it all began.
Oh, wow.
Or jump right in where you want to talk where it began.
To make it brief again, I say this, and I'll never get tired of saying it, is that I'm a community person. I was raised by this community, and that means all the people in it. And I remember as a family, we stayed on top of, in an apartment, on top of Tall Man Records. Okay. And so, and Miss Pat.
That was way back in the day.
And Miss Pat, I used to bug her every day. Every single day, because I could hear the music playing. And this is when Pontiac was Pontiac. The community was a little bit different, a little bit more communal. So people were walking up and down the street. You had Moselles. It just was very communal. The Operation Breadbasket was there. Of course, the Pontiac Mall wasn't quite there yet. Whitney Young was a popular spot to play ball. It was just a very communal. And so that's where I could hear those records. I could hear records that you wouldn't typically hear on the radio, like Steve Arrington or even George Duke, because, people like George Duke wasn't playing on the radio at that time, not in my day, if you will. So that's where it kind of started, the love of records. I had two older cousins. They were very instrumental in that, Tammy and Debbie Parker. And my aunt Nancy, and she passed away, and they used to take me to all of the jams and the shows at the Psychedelic Shack, if you remember that. Oh my goodness! Right, I was a little kid, and I would go to these places and I watched people react to the music. I never really got into production or any of that until later, but I watched how people reacted, and I wanted. I was like, wow, that must be a great feeling to make people feel that way. So that's basically how I got started. And, obviously throughout the years, you just keep doing stuff. And high school came, college came. I was out east. I went to Howard University, and I was out there. It opened me up to a whole nother level of music, being on the East Coast, meeting people from all over the world, and just that whole experience in D.C. And this is 90s D.C., so it was just a really good time for me. So, and then
you brought it back.
Yeah, I did. My partner, Brainstorm Akil, we had already formed a group, and we had put out records, as a group, and we had already done that. And I remember we would sit around in college starving, as most college students do. We starving, and we just talking about all the plans. And one of the major things that we wanted to do was come home and bring that vibe. And it was already here. So I don't want to say like we brought something here new. It was already here before us. We just wanted to do our part.
Yes,
yeah, right. Because it was before us. Like I said, Mr. Styles, I had a lot of talks with Mr. Styles about just history, and I would just eat it up, and people like that. And so that's where, we are today. And that's kind of pretty much how Music Lovers got started. I mean, in the sense of that desire to do something for the community and say, look, we can do this. Like, we can, you are the culture. People will say that, especially in smaller cities and smaller markets like this. The first thing they'll say is, oh, I wish it could be like Detroit, or it could be like LA, or it could be like Houston. And I'm like, we are the culture. You can do it. You do it. And no one wants to actually do the work. They say they want, all of the spoils and none of the toil, everybody, just doesn't want to do the actual work. And me and my partner, DJ Barrage, is who I partner with Music Lovers Lounge. We just said, let's just do it. We bet on ourselves. We put our own money up. We didn't go out begging. We said, let's do our own thing, because I'm fiercely independent,
Okay.
That's
and doing the work, when you loving what you're doing the work is not a chore. It's part of the joy of it.
I love it. I mean, we wouldn't together have done this for 7 years now if we didn't love it.
Talk about Music Lovers Lounge.
Well, and it's funny how that started. I was DJing like poetry ciphers, because it gave me a chance to play like really obscure records and stuff that, just not the typical stuff you hear on the radio. And the host, Victor Brown, like the #1 poetry guy in town, right. Vic would get talkative, we'll say. And one day, and it was, all in love, and couple of the ladies that were there were like, why don't you just let him play the music for a little while, and you just, we'll just bring the poets up later. So we all laughed about it. And so he kind of took it as a challenge. And so the next one, he's like, I'm going to just let you guys play for like an hour. So we just start playing. So me and my partner, and we're competitive as friends. Like, he likes the Bears, I like the Lions, and we're just naturally competitive, but in a very, very good way. And we were DJing, and he would play a record, I would play a record, and we just natural competitive. Like, oh, you're gonna play that record, you're gonna play the Spinners. Okay, I'm gonna play the OJs. Oh, you're gonna play Chris Brown. Or I'm about to play Trey Songz. And next thing you know, we didn't notice that we were going back and forth heavy, and people were watching us.
Y'all were performing.
They were like, like, these guys arguing? Are they going to fight, or what are they doing? And we were just having fun with it, trying to one up each other, but make each other better. The whole steel sharpens steel theory. And next thing you know, we said, well, let's try it. I think it was, I can't remember. I know it was in December 23rd, 7 years ago. So that'd make it 2012. Is that right? 2012? Something like that. And we tried it, and we got the numbers we wanted. We were just trying to get enough people in there to, say we did it. And then all of a sudden it really caught like fire, and it turned into something that I didn't know. I mean, I love Fort Wayne community for what they did for us. I'm serious. They made me feel like a superstar. Seriously, like just from the simple fact of them coming out and rocking with us once a month. So that's cool. Pretty much it.
That's cool. So you took a break because you changed your venue, but you're back on now.
Yes, we changed venues. CS3 closed down as a business, so we changed venues. And when we changed venues, like I said, we're fiercely independent, and so we like control. And that's like, any place that has a high standard, they want to control everything. Like if I make clothes, I want to grow the cotton, pick the cotton, make it in the yarn, make it in the thread, make the fabric, cut the fabric, design
and plug
the
you
fabric
in where I want you to fit in.
Exactly. And that's how you control quality. So in order to give what we felt was the quality that we had been given for all these years, we had to find a place that was that would be conducive to that. So we found a place. Dan Schwartz over at Wonder Camera liked the idea. He took a chance. We took a chance on him as well. Like I said, we put our money where our mouth is. We trust in the vision. We trust the people of Fort Wayne to come out, and even on a snowy night, we were packed.
They show up, don't they?
Yeah, they partied and went home. It's just good to see that, you know, because again, I grew up in the community.
Yes.
So to be a part of that, to add to what, again, I'm going to mention Al Styles 1,000 times. I don't care what nobody says. He's not the only one. I'm just saying, you know, he was pretty big.
That's
He's
good.
doing all those talent shows, and, you know, it just was really big and really a heavy influence on me. I didn't have any of his talent, but I love the way he loved the community. So I'll always speak highly of Mr. Styles.
That's
big
cool.
time.
Well, usually when I have a guest that's coming on, I always go to their Facebook page. I go to Instagram,
Right.
just to find pictures and just to get a feel of them, or just to listen interviews that they've had. And your Facebook page is just awesome. I don't see myself in any of those pictures because I'm not a party person, but I've even said I need to go just so I can get a picture taken of me and get it taken put it on the page.
The pictures are, you know what? I honestly believe.
Who does the photography?
Well, we started out, and I'm sure everyone knows or should know, Bryant Rogier. We started out with Bryant for most of the years that we did it, and for the past year or so, Christy, Big Johnny, has started doing our pictures as well. And it became a part of, like, the fabric of it. Like, it's like it goes hand in hand.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it goes together.
Yeah.
And so people would almost come for the pictures.
I know.
Yes, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope they would come for the music, but I honestly think they will come for the pictures. So, but the pictures.
It's a package deal. It really is. Yeah,
well, it's kind of like,
it's cool.
You know, and we didn't direct a photographer to do like setup shots. We wanted it candid to show you dancing, or, you know, just it's almost like, you know, the famous picture, the Sugar Shack.
Yes.
You know, if you look at that picture, as much as people look at that picture, you feel that picture. You see the music and Marvin Gaye used it for I think it was the I Want You record, and for his cover, and you can see you can hear the bass, you can feel the drums, you can see it out of that picture. So when you look at music lovers pictures, hopefully you get some of that.
You do, like you're right there,
like
or you should be there,
right? Or you should be right.
There you go.
So yeah, now I don't like pictures personally. But that's why you don't see me.
I know. I had to search for yours.
No, I'm not a picture guy. It's about the music. Honestly, it's. I try to keep it about that. You know, a lot of DJs are celebrity guys. You know, they love being seen. They love being, you know, just in the mix. And, you know, I'm not hiding, but I want the music to be the focus. You know, so
a little bit shy.
Yeah, I don't have a warrant or anything. I'm not hiding, but I just, you know, I'm cool with just, because I'm from that era of DJing where you really didn't see the guy. You know, you know how many people can probably point Frankie Crocker out in an actual photo, but he's like massive in our community as a DJ. But he was on the radio. See, radio, it's just the music and your voice.
But today in this society, because that was me.
Right.
I don't like the pictures, but I have no choice.
Yeah.
If you are going to be in any part of an entertainment or serving industry or radio, TV, any of that, you're gonna be photographed. So I had to get past just going to
video. I mean, everybody has a camera, and a video and a microphone. Cool. Actually, you know, have fun with it, if you will. So, but yeah, I think education is not the only thing. I think it is key. I think it's a big part of it. But education, knowing yourself and knowing others, because I can't respect a man sitting across from me if I don't know him.
Right.
How can I so I just respect you so much? I don't know that man, and that man doesn't know me. So we need to have a conversation. We need a dialogue. I mean, we're in here talking now. I'm sure you probably learned some things that you didn't know about me, and that starts a culture.
Yeah,
that's what culture is.
I didn't know you were so talkative.
Yeah, I got that from my father.
Wow,
I'm blaming my dad.
That's cool though.
But no, I have my moments. But yeah, I think there's appropriate time for everything, because I used to get in trouble a lot in school for that. I used to, because I was always taught, the first sign of intelligence is asking questions. And man, did I ask questions. My mother would tell you, I was like, why does this work? Why is water wet? Why is the sky blue? Like, I wanted to know the science behind everything. So she was like, you know what? I'm gonna just feed him books, and that's how I learned. So yeah,
this is why I love sitting right here in this place right
You're
here,
in a good
because
position.
I get to really hone in on who people truly are.
Yeah, because I haven't done a interview I've done a few, but not about myself.
Right,
it's always usually about MLM.
And this is why I look at I listen to other people and what you're doing. Like, I want to know about the person. I want to know what's deep in them. So talk about any upcoming projects that you have.
Well, the Polaris collections again.
Can I play something from that, and then we'll come back to that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see if we can.
We can play. We'll play the next one. I think it's called, let's see which one I put on here. Cognition.
Cognition.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
All right. What is that piece called?
Cognition.
So, DJ Black,
yes.
You helped produce that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, tell me about your part in that piece.
Okay, so normally when we make music together, I'll focus more on like the melodic part of it, and then he'll focus more on like the drums and percussion and different things like that. So we started off, and it was a really nice vibe. I really liked it, and we just kind of started, playing with it, and it came out pretty good. So
okay, so when I hear that, I hear more of a jazzy, but is there a jazzy and a hip hop vibe to that?
Definitely like neo soul, kind of R&B.
Oh, look at you. What do you like? What I guess I'm trying to figure out to say, how do I say this? What artists do you pull from the past or the current? That
I pull from everybody, old school, new school, because I listen to a lot of old school records as well, picking up from my dad. And I also listen to everything that's new as well. So just kind of try to stay diverse in what I listen to and artists and different things like that. So yeah, definitely.
I like that. Yeah. How did you pull him into this piece, DJ Polaris?
When we worked together, and let me go back. I think I should talk about how he learned. I think we'll do that. Well, like a lot of us as children, we get in trouble and do things we shouldn't do, and part of that, at least in my household, is discipline. So he was serving a punishment, if you will, and he was stuck in his room. And as a parent, I think it's kind of hard to watch your child go through that, because you've been through it and you know how hard it is, but it's necessary. At least some of us believe so. So anyway, I said, well, I don't want you to just sit in your room. I don't like that. I think being stagnant is not good. So, of course, gave him just regular books to read, stuff to write, stuff to look at. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give you a book of I think it was it scales or was it chords? A book of chords. You play so many notes together and they make a chord. Because I am not formally trained. I grew up in church, but I didn't play in church. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to Juilliard, any of that. I just learned how to play on my own. And so I had a good friend of mine who's also on the album, Christopher Drake Bates, and he knows all of that stuff. And he would say, just do you, don't change up what you do, create your own scales and so on and so forth. But I gave him a book of traditional scales so he would learn, because I thought that would be unfair of me as a parent to say, well, I learned this way, so you're going to learn this way. So he learned on his own by being stuck in his room and having a keyboard. And he came out, and we have a studio in our basement, and so he was down there playing one day. And I was just like, wow, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I know a lot of parents want to say, yeah, I'm the reason, or no, he did it on his own. And I will say I'm very proud of him because of that, because he stuck with it, because he could have quit.
You learned the keys and playing you learned that on your own.
Yes, I did. And I'm not, like you said, I'm not trained either. I just learn. I just play whatever sounds good. That's how I play. So yeah. So when we start, like you said, typically, being a producer, we just looking for sounds, things that sound nice, and I'll hear something, I'll say, hey, that's kind of nice. Sometimes I'll be cooking dinner or washing clothes, and he'll find something, and then I'll come and add my little bit,
add to it,
and then he'll add a little bit, or we'll go back and forth, and it's communal. And I think that's why I said it starts at home, because if I can't be in a community if you don't have a family, because families build communities.
Right.
Communities don't build families in the sense of you have to start with families first. So with us, that's how we start. But a lot of things he does on his own. I mean, actually, he has a record out before I did. So he kind of was a serious. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I need to put out a record. This boy got a record out, making money and everything.
Well, for one thing, because young people have no fear. They have no fear. Some don't have any filter either, and I think sometimes that's good.
Well, he got a filter. It's right here. He got a filter. But what I didn't want him to have, and I teach him this all, and he can tell you, I try to just say, look, man, you don't have to worry about impressing me.
Right.
You don't have to worry about impressing your mother. You don't have to worry about your grandmother, your grandfather, which are all here, which all know he do music, and all are very impressed. I said, impress yourself first. And after that, and don't worry about being a superstar. Just just be good at what you do. If you clean carpets for a living, be a good carpet cleaner.
There you go.
If you know, don't worry about the limelight, because the limelight comes with stuff that is not always good.
Right.
So I said, keep working on your craft, and he does. I mean, I don't. He surpassed me. I mean, I'm just along for the ride now. So
That's
I'm
cool.
trying to play catch up now. So yeah,
Talk
cool.
about your projects that are coming up.
Yeah, like I said, I got the Polaris collections,
Okay.
which will probably be a multi-series. I think I'm going to keep releasing a lot of the music that I've done. I'm not sure, honestly. The first one will be mainly instrumental, you know, and just like I said, there's some tapestry in there with little blurbs of speeches and talks and little motivational pieces, but nothing to overpower the record. But I also I'm going to do a collection, and it may be the next set, like volume 2, if you will, of, like, I've done so many records and worked with so many people and done records for them, remixes for them, Ty Causey, Fatima Washington, Melanin Celeste, I mean, a slew of rappers. I mean, guys that came and went, they probably don't even know I still got these records. But I want to just because, again, they got great music, and sometimes your situation dictates where you couldn't put the record out. So I have the means to do it. So I'm like, you know what?
So those are going to be a part of the collection then.
Right. So it's just going to, it's anything that I was a part of. Again, I guess we're getting back to that word, community. Right. I'm just going to, you know, reach to those records. I got tons of stuff. A friend of mine a couple of years ago, Ikena Green, really good close friend of mine, great singer, just great person all around, and she was very instrumental in me doing this as well, because she always said, I mean, she would just sit for hours in the studio and not say a word and just let me create. And I never really had anybody to do that, because it's kind of strange to create around people. I'm kind of like to be alone. I don't really, you know, because you mess up a lot. Like, you mess up a ton, and so you don't want anybody to hear it. But she always, like, stuck around, and I have, you know, even records with her, and that she, you know, before she passed away, had already finished and authorized me to actually, if I wanted to put them out. Yeah. So, you know, those may be on there on another collection. But I also do the Seductive Suite. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
No.
It's, oh man, we're on number 10. It's more DJ based, because I take, of course, when you hear seduction, you think love and you know, some even think sex, but that's not what it's about. You know, if you go into any history of seduction, it's just like, I mean,
gathering your attention and holding your attention.
Right. And so the covers that I used, that's how I came up with the title. My friend Erica, her and her boyfriend, they're very active on Instagram, and, you know, they're playful, and I'm, you know, and I always, you know, kind of joke to them about how playful they are. So one day she took a beautiful picture and posted it, and it said, and I think I said something like, "Oh, look at you trying to be seductive," or something. And it wasn't like she was doing anything sexual. It was just the look in her eyes. And I was talking to her and her boyfriend like, "Oh, you know, look at y'all, whatever." And it hit me. I said, I can use that as a cover. So I called my friend, super duper artist Eric Stein, and I sent it to him, and I said, can you do anything with this? Because I'm not a graphic artist. I have no physical, I can't draw a straight line. So he said, yeah. So we made the cover. I put a bunch of records together that were unknown artists, you know, and like that I DJ with sometimes, and people are like, who is that and who is that? So I put it together. It's about 75 minutes long. I did the first one. It's free download. It wasn't selling it.
Wow.
And it really had a lot of downloads. I said, maybe I can do one more. So I put another one together, and then I started finding pictures, and just like you were searching for pictures, these are all my friends. All the covers are friends of mine, people I actually know that I can actually have shook their hand, or I've been to their house or something of that nature, or I've even worked with them as artists. And so the next one I did had my friend Marisha Dene, and she's an artist based out of Memphis area now, but originally from Chicago. And again, it was just a random picture, and I turned it into something. And so that is up to number 10. And I'm working on number 11. So I'm a big swimmer. I like to swim. I love the water. So I did a Music to Swim To series, and that's did 4, and I stopped again, just finding art from my friends. I belong to a swimming group, and they were all posting pictures of them underwater and all these great pictures, and I'm like, wait a minute, a cover.
Good idea.
Yeah, and that's just because I'm not very artistic, so I'm like, can I use it? And they're like, why would you want to use just a random picture? So I just took all that pieces. Cool. So those are the main 2. I'm hoping to get back in the studio because DJing takes a lot, and we're starting to try to travel a little bit more. I'm hoping to be in Nashville this spring, DJing down there. I got an opportunity.
What's the event?
It's a music group that's on Facebook, actually.
Okay.
And I talked to his name's Marco Coleman, and my friend Stephanie Woodson, which is another artist, and her and I and Theo Smith. I'm sure everybody knows Theo. We just always talking about music and doing stuff. So she invited me to this group, and they're like heavy into me. Like I thought I was heavy. They are up on everything, all the knowledge. So I talked to him, and I was like, that'd be a crowd I could DJ to. So we, exchanged some information, and we're talking about that now. So we're trying to get there. So yeah, I got a lot of things, but I like the studio. I want to get back. And Fatima is one of my favorite artists, so hopefully we can get back in the studio and start working and creating records. I'm cool on covers. I know a lot of people do covers, but I want to do original music. I love doing original music. So.
And one of the things that you have coming up with this original piece is you're giving back to the community. Oh, yeah. Something about Brownlee's
that's
store?
Actually
what is that?
That was actually another artist by the name of Misled. Actually, that was his campaign.
Okay.
I was just supporting it.
I see.
And what he was doing, and he could probably tell you more about it. Maybe you can go on my page and find him, and you guys could connect. Cause
that's not your piece?
No.
I see.
The piece that he was doing, though, he was giving away his album for any purchase you made at the store to kind of bring more light, because everybody grew up in essence with Brownlee. Everybody, we can go all day about Mr. Brownlee. Again, he's a staple in our community, somebody we should support from the standpoint that he supported us for all these, and he's still here. Right. So a lot of places have left, so in order to do that. So that's pretty cool. So right. So you gonna play another one?
I'm gonna play this last one as you're finishing up, sir.
Sure. Yeah, this last one, again, this is I took this piece of singing, and it is called Come Get. I named it Come Get P, as in Polaris, but it's saying Come Get Me. It was just, you just hear you ever hear just, and in hip hop is very popular to just take just the smallest piece, because it's just so much there, and just expound on that, and that's what I did. And so it's just it's vibe music. This whole album will be an album, hopefully, that people can put on and clean the house, work out, just sit, chill. I know some people drink wine or whatever, or smoke cigars. My partner and ex-manager, Art Biggs, he smokes cigars and stuff. So I thought about all these different people that you can just relax to this. It's not going to be something, it's probably going to play at too many parties, but it's just
relaxing music.
Just laid back stuff.
So DJ Black, were you a part of this one as well?
No, not this piece.
This piece.
Nah, I can't give him everything. Man, he already dominated my record.
He gonna take it.
His record. I can't give him everything.
You gonna take it.
Yeah.
So we've talked about. I'm gonna play this as we're going now. We talked about. Have we not touched on anything? We talked about your new releases. We've talked about your vision. I'm gonna leave you with this final word as I play this last piece out.
Well. I
want to thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I've never been a part of like a me interview,
okay.
So it's a little bit different because I'm used to my partners and they talk. But one of the things I'll say about Fort Wayne, because I'm a big Fort Wayne person. Like I said, I've lived all over the East Coast and done that thing. But everybody out there that's either listening, whether on live or on your radio show, know that you guys create the culture. You got a great city here. You got a lot of great people. I'm not the only DJ. I'm not the only musician. There's a ton of us out here. And it's not easy to do this. In any art, it's not easy to go to work every day. But we get up and we keep doing it because we believe that there's a check at the end of 2 weeks or a check at the end of the month. And that's what motivates us. So stay motivated. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Stay motivated.
That's good.
Keep your vision, you know, and things will work out for you. Like I said, I get nervous all the time. I still get
nervous. Do you
nervous.
really?
Oh, terrible. Everybody will tell you, like, I get nervous. My hands, I mean, I am super nervous before every Music Lovers. Everyone. And we've been doing it for 7 years. And I used to worry about it. I mean, I've had almost panic attacks because, you know, I've been at Heart and Soul, and it's 2,000 people out there. That ain't nothing small to just say, oh, I'm Polaris, so, you know, I'm good. Nah, I'm serving the community. I have to do my job. I can't take it for granted. These people paid their hard-earned money to see me, and that means a lot to me. Like, wow. Like, somebody told me they waited 45 minutes to get into Music Lovers.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, I wouldn't wait 45 minutes to see me, but they did, and see my partner, DJ Barrage. So shout out to him, too, because, again, he's a huge part of what we do at Music Lovers. I think he's really the heart and soul of it, really, because he's very vocal, and he's amazing. Like, that's the man right there.
No, it's the both of you together. It really is.
Yeah, but he drives me. I mean, he from a spiritual, like, he just like, you know, let's do
go.
It. Yeah. And we argue like cats and dogs about records all the time. So, I mean, good guy.
Very cool.
Great guy.
Well, even coming on, I have to say this. I was nervous during this interview. And I mean, I get like that before a person comes in. And that is why I like to play the music, because if nothing else happens, when you put the music on, you can see the guards go down.
Yeah.
And everybody just relaxes. The only thing I wish I could do was have some wine or some I call it some spirits in here. I'm dating myself, but that would but I can, that's when the guards go down, when the music comes on, and then you can really get to see a person. So when does this album drop?
I'm going to release it next Saturday, a week from tomorrow.
How can it be?
I'm not going to do the traditional, you know, Apple and Tidal, and those are good outlets. No disrespect to those outlets, but I wanted to make it more personal. Like, I'm going to have it to where you pretty much, if you go online, you'll pay for it, and you'll get it directly from me. You know, we're going to interact. I'm going to interact with people. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to say, what do you like? What don't you like? Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings for someone to say, I was just bored. Like, it just didn't have enough snap. Didn't have enough this. The drums are too loud. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I want to really interact with people about these pieces because, again, these are just sketches and things that I put together, but I don't want them to feel like I'm just giving them some throwaway or some scraps. These are things that I've actually went back in and retooled and put together. So,
where can it be? How can you be contacted for it?
Oh, you're gonna I'm gonna post everything, especially to my Facebook page. I don't have an Instagram right now. I figure Facebook is enough.
What's your Facebook page?
It's just DJ Polaris, DJ Polaris.
Okay.
And you can always reach me there, but all the information will be there. And then I'm going to expand on it. I'm probably going to do some in-print stuff, you know, CDs. Some of us still play CDs. So, so right. Yeah, some people don't, but some of us do. So I'm going to print some as well, a little bit down the line. And, I'm just going to, you know, and like I said, I don't know how many volumes I'm going to do. I can't believe I'm on the 10th Seductive Suite, but I'm gonna send you those. They're all free.
Okay.
So, and you can send the links out to other people and enjoy the music. I think.
What's the album called?
It's called the Polaris Collections.
The Polaris Collections.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, DJ Polaris.
No, thank you so much.
And DJ Vlad.
Thank you.
You got a final thought, sweetie?
Nothing. Just thank you for having me, and I hope the music speaks for itself.
Awesome. All right. You're listening to Speak Now with Gena, 95.7 FM. WELT.